Hey guys, Snoopy here with my game from the quarterfinals of the ARC's Prelaunch tournament. We're looking at the draft right now. See Blues drafting, they're taking the Archivist. Archivist is a very strong leader, but you do have to have some knowledge and awareness of the lore cards, because the ability is you draw 5 unused lore cards and you pick 2 of them, and you do that after the draft. So the blue player will do this once all the leaders in the lore have been picked. So instead of having 1 or 2 good known abilities, you're taking a chance to get 2 very powerful lore cards that people can't mess with. The downside is that you can never get first place in Tycoon. You only get second place points if you're first. We see Mystic taken by Yellow. Yellow is 1 already. Same thing with Blue. And so we each have 1 win so far. And Mystic is another strong leader here. We see Seeker Torpedoes taken next by me. I do this because I have free pick for the leaders next, between Warrior and Anarchist. We see Gate Stations chosen next. And then we see Yellow take Impasse Bond, which makes sense for the Mystic because they're going to be most likely declaring Empath. That lets them to tax any cities and to tax or to build ships at any starports. We take the Warrior here. This lets us take a free move action when we copy or pivot with an aggression card. So let's see, we have the 4 here, since we are with the initiative to begin. So we're starting out with a construction card because this lets us build some ships. And so it's also going to let us build a starport and another ship. So we're using all 3 pips. So we have 2 more ships, another starport. We see the 3 play. We also declare Warlord. We forgot to put the marker down, but the reason we do this is because we know we have the potential to fight, and we have 2 aggression cards. And so if we do any fighting or anyone fights us, we want those ships back ASAP. So just doing that early declare on Warlord is something I would recommend if you know from the get-go you want to fight, you want to be aggressive. Just go ahead and declare Warlord now, just so that way you get your ships back more quickly. And we see the other players just following suit. For the court, we have Farseers is definitely the strongest card in the court. We see Construction Union as well. Those are probably the best 2 cards. Of those 2, Farseers is just stronger, it's better. And Mystic, because they have a Psionic and Relic to begin, they have first dibs, basically. So one reason to play Construction is it prevents a Mystic from doing this. So the blue player is playing a blue card to move, and if they're going to influence, they need to put 1 on Farseers. They put 1 on Sworn Guardians, and they go for the Union card, which is fine. It's not necessarily bad, but I think this is where if you know Mystic can grab a card very quickly, then you may want to block them from just using their combo to do this. We play the 6. We could block. We could do a move, and we could put an agent on Farseers. That is also something we could do to help make sure that Mystic doesn't get a super strong start. We're moving to the field point just to get another building slot, and see now we're blocking Farseers to make sure that Mystic can't get it for free. But they still could get it, right? So what they can do is they can play a mobilization card and then seize the initiative. And then with the seize, they could secure it if they just put more agents on it, because we only have 1 agent on it ourselves. So we're not stopping white from getting it, we're just making it more difficult if they want it. And so now they're copying, and they're going to use the Psionic to influence again. So that's what's going on. So they're using a Psionic and the card to influence twice. Now it's our card, so they didn't see, so we could play the 5 or the 2 and influence that and do a Forever War to try to win that card. we could try to destroy a city from yellow, but that's going to be pretty tough to do at the very beginning of the game. So let's see, what do we do here? I think we may want to tax. We may want to play the 5 and tax, maybe an option, and then put one more agent on there, just to make it harder for yellow to get Farseers. We do have weapons, so if we had moved our ships into yellow space, we could have used R2 to do 4 battles. So that's something to keep in mind. So instead we go to just tax, and we use our material to build a city, and we're going to tax a fuel, and we're going to tax a weapons, and we're going to do one more agent just to prevent yellow from getting the card very easily. So they play the 6, now they secure it, so now all they have to do is just influence it once, and then next turn they can secure it quite easily. The only way this goes sideways for yellow is if blue seizes the initiative. But yeah, I think yellow is playing the right way. They're just taking a psionic for attacks, and then they're winning in Farseers. Now we see a copy. We didn't mention what lore cards Archivists got. They got Hidden Harbors, which is one of, if not the best lore cards in the game. Hidden Harbors is just a great card. It makes it very hard to raid, because everywhere you have a starport you can be raided at. And you always build ships fresh. Or even if they try to go to your starports, you can still build ships there fresh. And then they have Tycoon's Ambition. All right, so and that one is okay. It lets them declare another ambition when Tycoon's declared. But with Archivists, they can't get full points from Tycoon, so that's a bummer for them. But still good. Two strong lore cards they chose. We see yellows using their relic to secure, capture 2 captives for me. Not a big deal. I'm not sore for losing that. I can raid later and possibly get it if he's keeps it for too long. Now we see Call to Action. This is really strong. Vox card to get another action card, but you don't know what card you're going to get, and so that can be an issue where you may have an idea of what you want to do, but until you get that Vox card, you may not know what it is. Now we see blue seizing, and it's been 1 aggression card, so they're secured. Construction Union, there's a little misunderstanding of which card it actually is, but still a good card. You can't immediately use it, but they can use it on another construction card to get an extra turn. Then we see Admin Union in the court. Admin Union is probably better. Admin cards are usually better than construction cards, but a similar idea. All right, so we're going to pivot just to build another ship. So we're building right next to yellow. They have 5 ships. We have 5 ships. We see blue is declaring Tycoon, and with their lore card, they can declare another ambition. So they're declaring Keeper. They're the only one with relic resources, and there is a relic planet that we're on, but we have a starport, not a city. They secure Sworn Guardians as well, so now they even more protection. So we can't raid them where they have a fresh starport with Hidden Harbors, and now they have Sworn Guardians to protect them from Silver Tongues or Guild Struggle that you can steal stuff. You have to deal with Sworn Guardians first. And now they're just spreading out. So if you look at the gate situation, there's gate 3, which is controlled by yellow, and then there's gate 2, which is controlled by us. And blue is reconsidering whether they should spread out to the psionic planet or not. So they're moving to our gate and gate 2, and they're going to fight us. With 2 assault dice, it looks like. 2 assault dice, expected values about 2 hits and 1 self-hit. There's a 1 in 6 chance to do intercept, or 1 in 6 chance it's just a blank. And so, in general, if you're going to do assault dice, you want at least 3 dice. That's just a general rule of thumb. 1 1-1 is what they decide with. And we see 1 hit and 1 self-hit. So, a little unlucky. But again, it's just 2 dice. It's very high variance, what you can expect. It could have been 3 hits and no self-hits, but it's just 1-1. So now it's our turn. So we have the 4 we could play. We could play the 6. If we play the 6, we know we're going to keep the initiative. And so we're deciding what to do. We could fight blue back, and that's what we're going to do. So we damage, and then we're just going to do 2 assault dice. Because we have Seeker Torpedoes, we can reroll 1 of these. And we get perfect result. Because all their ships are damaged, there is no intercept hits. So we just do 2 hits. That's exactly what we need. So that's just something to keep in mind with arcs. If you fight somebody and you're leading, they can just copy or play a higher card and just fight you right back. And so now we're winning Warlord. It's 5 points. But notice, what did Yellow do? Yellow got attacks and got 2 psionic because they have a psionic planet. So now they have 3 psionics. And these psionics can be used now because I led with an aggression card. They could be moves in battles in the prelude. And so this is something that is always to be mindful of. If someone has 2 or 3 psionics in their resource hold, be careful. But right now we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on blue. We're thinking through, hey, can I go into their city? What exactly makes the most sense? We move these ships out, and then we're gonna fight yellow in the gate. We roll 3, and we roll very, very well. We get 6 hits. Yeah, that is probably the luckiest roll I've had in arcs. I guess we did get 6 hits, but it was enough to wipe the fleet, and we just had 1 self-hit. So yeah, we feel pretty good on Warlord. We have 4 ships, but now we have yellow, and they just have a copy, but now they're spending 1 psionic to move, and they're moving next to us. And then they can spend another psionic to move more ships in. Just the 1 ship, I guess. Yeah, so they're just moving all in, and now they're going to use a psionic to fight. Again, important with resources that you can spend a resource, see what happens, and then decide to spend another resource. You don't have to decide all at once. So they roll 5 skirmish dice, get a little above average, so they get 3 hits, and roll them again, and a little bit again above average, so do 3 hits again. So this could have been 4 hits instead of 3 hits. So it could have been 4 instead of 6. But now they're doing assault, and they can blow up everything here. And so they roll poorly, so they have 4 self-hits here, and 4 hits to me. So they capture 4 ships, 5 ships total, and they do 4 self-hits. So it's a bummer for them, but if they did more damage, they would have destroyed my starport, which is a raid target. And so that's the first chapter. For scoring, we have Tycoon, which I tie, or I get second. So I get 2 points for that. And then Warlord, I get second, so I get another 2 points, or 3 points for that. And then Keeper goes 2 points for just blue. And so we have a 5-5-2 score right now. The goal is to get to 30 for a 3-player game. And we got the 2 played here because we kept an initiative. And our goal is to build more ships and to repair our ships. So we could do 2 repairs and 2 builds. So we build a ship there, and I have mixed feelings on this. On the one hand, I think, you could, if nothing happens, you can move over to Yellow City and start taxing the Psionic City. But most likely, Yellow's just going to punch you. And but perhaps maybe you want Yellow to punch that ship and ultimately destroy the city. So maybe that's just, or the starport. So maybe that's what you're trying to bait out from Yellow by building that ship there. I just think just having another ship where your other ships are in that cluster of the third cluster with the weapons planet makes the most sense. But we'll see what happens here. So we see a pivot from blue, and they're moving ships to the weapons planet. I think they end up deciding to move them to the gate. Yeah, they going to the gate, and I think they're scared of me, just being in the gate. But what can happen in a 3-player game, especially, is that 2 players end up fighting each other a lot, and the 3rd player can just kind of do their own thing, and that's what I'm afraid of. And so I try to assure blue I'm not going after their city, but since they moved everything in, it actually makes the most sense to go to their city. And so I'm playing let's see, blue's playing the 6, or no, and this should be, yeah. So yellow played the 6 and influenced twice. Blue's pivoting, and they build a city, so that is a relic city. It's not a psionic city, just because there is a starport there. It's only a relic city right now in that gate. So I use a weapon, and I do something a little different here. So I can battle and then move, or move and then battle, because I'm using my weapons. So I'm moving, and then I'm going to use 2 assault dice. And I'm using them, my reroll, to reroll, and so I'm destroying a city or a starport. I decided to destroy a starport because there's no ships there. I can assign those ship hits to the buildings. So now I've removed blue's only starport, and so now blue is in a bind because they are now in no position with building slots because they moved their fleet to the gate. My ships are damaged, but maybe I can repair them and do something else with them. We see a secure from yellow. They probably should be declaring just for the sake of farseers. And then they have a battle here. So now they're battling me and the relic, which is, I'm assuming what my idea was, is that I want them to destroy, because I could have use the fuel to move that ship over on their city and starport. But so yeah, they destroy everything. So they destroy my starport, they destroy my ship. But that's okay, because now they can't raid me. I'm happy to see the aggression as the lead, because now I can pivot or copy. But all right, so now we see the next court card. It's going to be Secret Order. Mystic is very excited to see this because they already are on Empath's Bond. Blue's excited to see this too because they're going for Keeper. So we'll see who ends up with that card, but that's something that to keep in mind, that they are going to want to go for that. Yeah, what to do here? What is our goal? It's hard to say at this point because no ambitions are declared. But we want to get more fuel, and we want to get our weapons more in sync with what we're trying to do. We can use our weapons with our 4 or 5 to do a lot more actions, but we just have to wait for the lead to be mobilization or admin and be in a position to fight. We see blue move 2 ships down from their gate, and now they can build a starport or another city, and they control it, so it will be hard for us to build something there. If we do, just be damaged. So I think we get rid of the 6 here. Possibly not, because we may want to repair. But I think this is a mistake. I think it's just tough because we don't know any ambitions are declared. That's what makes this hard. So we don't battle. We just move. We could have battled. just with some skirmish dice, but we didn't see a point in that. Again, we don't want to just hurt blue. There may be a purpose for that. And this is why we probably should not have gotten rid of our forest, because the 2 mobilization hadn't been played. So now we see blues moving there. So one thing I think, and I mentioned this on the table too, is that what I could have done last turn was I could have used my weapon, my fuel, and my weapons. Or I guess not my weapons, but just my fuel to go backwards to my starport and then catapult to yellow and try to hit yellow. And, they realize that, and so now they block their city starport. That may not deter me. I may still try to do that later. But now yellow has a ton of ships spread out. They have a bunch of building slots they could build their cities on. And so I think what we got to do is we just got to be patient and wait for these ambitions to be declared. And so that's one reason perhaps to use the construction card or just use a taxation card, because we already have a fuel. So now we're moving our ships back. So move our ships back. They can catapult out. The gate is open. The gate in 5 is open too. Now we see Tycoons declared, and now because of that, they can declare again. There is a caveat to this. Blue has to discard all their fuel material to do this, but they don't have any of those planets, and so that's not a concern. So now they're getting an extra card from Call to Action, and now they declare Keeper. So they have 2 cities for that, and then they also get a Psionic. But I think we correct them on that. So they can't take the Psionic. They can only get the Relic here. But yeah, Arcs is a complicated game. It's very easy to misread or misremember a card. And so something is just to take it slow and no pressure. If a mistake happened, it's no big deal. But yeah, there's a lot to remember with Arcs. Interesting situation in the court right now. We have Fuel Cartel and we have Material Cartel. So we see the 6 admin hasn't been played, I don't think, and we decided to just tax, and so we're okay with this to some extent. But I think, again, if I just used, so we repair. That's a great decision. So we use our admin to repair those 2 ships, and maybe we can leave out or fight our way out. And now we see admin union being used. Farseers probably should have already been used as well, but perhaps they're waiting on that. But yeah, I think fighting when yellow had all their ships away from their starport and city probably was the best bet, and we missed our window. And you have to remember with Arcs, the window could just be 1 turn, and then you don't have another chance for a long time. And so, again, another lesson to see from this game is that there was a small window where I could have moved with a fuel from Gate 3 to the Weapons Planet, used my warrior ability to move to the Psionic Planet in Sector 5, and then battled there with a 1 raid. But we move forward. It's still pretty early on. We see Tyrant just declared. We declare Tyrant because we want our agents back. We don't want that to be a big change point-wise. And so we end up declaring Tyrant. And so in some sense it is giving yellow some points, but it's only 3 points and not 9 points, which could happen if Tyrant's never declared. We also don't want Farseers to trigger, and so that's preventing yellow from getting a card swap that may help them. Alright, so now we are moving, and then we're going to fight. Now we're going to move. Yeah, we're just using the fuel to move, and then we're going to do a fight with just 2 dice. We can do this because you don't have to use as much dice as you have ships, and we get super lucky. So this is the second super duper lucky roll, and so we clear out his ships, and now he has a city there. So now blue is a little miffed about this, but their hidden harbors are offline because they have no starports. So we can raid them, and we end up taking the city. We end up triggering relic outrage because there's only a relic city. There's not a psionic city or weapons city. So we trigger that, and now we can raid Sworn Guardians, get rid of that. And we don't roll well here. We just get 2 keys, and so we just get 1 relic and get rid of Sworn Guardians. And the city is destroyed. We also take a material cartel from the court. I think that's better than Secret Order. We already have Fuel Cartel. We already have a fuel from Fuel Cartel, so I don't think that's worth taking. And now we see yellow using psionics again. The lead card is aggression, and now they're using psionics to take advantage. So now they have 4 move or battle actions they can do. So what would you do here? So they can move out and catapult somewhere. So we're completely open in Sector 3. So this is one reason to leave a ship in the gate. So we did well to go to Gate 2, but what we should have done was left 1 ship in Gate 3 so our city, starport are safe. So now we're going to see a counter raid. So it's just 3 ships. It's just 3 dice. But it may not go too well. So they're going to move 2 ships in. I'm not sure why they're contesting. Oh, I guess that allows them, because I have 2 damaged ships. The control is now nobody. And they roll super duper poorly. So they get 1 key, 3 self hits, 2 building hits. So now they take our starport. And so now, just as we mentioned, blue has no starports and can't build ships. We now have no starports and can't build any ships. We're in 1 building slot, so we could do this in Sector 2 with the Relic Planet, but they raid again with just 2 dice, and they blow up our city. So they also get no keys. So 2 very unlucky rolls for yellow. And yeah, it's been a pretty bloody fight. Let's see what the ship count is. Yellow has 1, 2, 3 damaged ships, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 healthy ships. So 9, but half of them are damaged. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 healthy ships and 2 damaged ships. So we're not doing too hot, and we have no starports. And so now we see blue securing the fuel cartel. And they're doing this just to make sure we don't win. Tycoon. Because they have admin unit, but they can't get second place points. And so this is just only hurting us and allowing, allowing the game to stay close. And so I think that's the right call here. So we have 3 starports we can build. We need more ships, mass uprisings in the court. We see Farseers could be used here if they declare. I guess we're not the last hand yet. So we see just influence here with the last card from yellow. And yeah, I think this is why having an extra card can be so useful, is that they can now recoup their psionics. They can, I guess, just get 1 psionic action. But we get that 1 psionic, maybe a good win, and then repair some ships. Here we see blue has the 3 from the call to action, and so they have taxing, getting material, and they do that, and that makes it where I think they are going to win, or it'll be tied. Let's see, it was 4, 5, 6, and then they have 7. So they're gonna win, but only get 3 points, and then they're gonna contest Mass Uprising. And now they're winning Mass Uprising if they can secure it, which they can with their relics. All right, so we see Tycoon. They just go up a few points. We get second, so we go up 3 points. And so for us, we're close. And then we see Keeper scored. So we're winning, going to Chapter 3, but it's neck and neck. And board state-wise, we're toast. We're cooked. How are we going to get out of this? Well, the answer is play the 2, build a starport, build a ship, get your economy going, board state-wise. But we don't have the initiative. And so we see a Blues playing an aggression card to secure Mass Uprising. That's a big boon for them. We should be returning the resources to the cartel cards. So my fuel should be gone. But I think we missed that. Again, like I said, it can be a lot to remember here. And so we see a captive taken from yellow, and they're putting ships over in Sector 5. This surprised me at the time, but that was the right call. Those are super weak. You can now tax yellow. You can move ships in. You can take some trophies. That's a great call. Those are a lot of building slots. Alternatively, I think Sector 3 made sense. Put a ship on my city where I have no starports either, and then you have a bunch of building slots. So I think that was another valid option too. So what to play here? We can play the 6, get the initiative, but we use our warrior ability, and I think this was a mistake. So what do we do here? We can fight. So I think we do 1 fight here. So we're fighting yellow in the gate, and we get unlucky. We just get 1 hit, but that's okay. And then we can move the ships after, and we move them down to the relic planet. This is tough. So blue, their last turn, they build a starport there, so that blocks that building slot. So I don't know what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep bullying blue. We see Will Impasse. And we see Arms Union was secured and Secret Order secured. Will Impasse, Loyal Keeper, both in the court, work really, really well together. If you notice, we haven't been doing much in the court, and part of that's because of our hands, but because we outraged Relic, it's hard for us to secure because we want to use our actions to fight. We don't want to deal with the court. So we'll have to see what we think of here. Now we see Will Impasse, or not Will Impasse, Farseer is being used here on blue by the yellow player. So what they're doing is they get to look at their hand and take a card and then give blue whatever card they want. So it could be the same card, it could be a different card. And that gives them a whole lot of information. Farseers also can be discarded to get an extra card for it, and also you can swap out some other cards and just discard those too. Now the Impasse Bond is active because Impasse declared. They can also tax any city, so they could be taxing relic cities, and something to keep in mind. They also can't get captives though, and so we'll see. Tyrants declared, and we see Impasse declared. So we want. That's perhaps why we're moving down to the relic city so we can start taxing it, but we can't use the relics. That's the main issue I have with that, is that we can't use it. We need to build more ships. We need starports. There's no building slots there, so I think that's just the issue we have. We do have the 2 constructions, so if we can just get the initiative, we may be golden, but we just have to make sure the ships are in a building slot first. Guild Struggle, that's another good card. And we could take Farseers, we could take a different card. We see Construction Unions now being played. So Blue's going to take another extra turn. with this card, or they could do extra C's. A lot of good options here for blue. So they're building a starport here. So now they've built 2 starports, and we've built 0. So blue was correctly assessing their situation. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ships, and they're all healthy. They're all fresh. And they have 2 starports. So they're turning their situation around, even though it looks bleak. So we tax, we pivot the tax, we move our resources around, and we're just getting ready to do a move and fight. That's what we're getting ready to do. We're going to do a big move, and we're going to do a fight. Okay. So we see a ship being built by yellow. Now blue doesn't control that psionic planet. Blue is going to play the 5. They should just be building ships. That's just what you should be doing. You have the 2 starports now. You can benefit from that. So we can take the initiative with the 6. But then what do you do? And so I think what we got to do here is we can play the 6, use a fuel, move, and then build a starport, build another ship. That's what I think we should do. Hindsight, maybe not being 100% accurate, but that's probably what I would do here. Is I would play the 6, use a fuel to the weapons planet where the yellow ship is, build a starport, build a ship. I could also just repair my 2 ships. So that's another valid option. Is I play the 6, repair 2 ships, and call it a day. And that's what I do. Okay. So now we just have 6 ships on the map, but they're all fresh. They're all together. We have 2 fuel to kind of move somewhere else. We quickly move them out. And so we're using 2 resources, and we have 2 rolls here. So because yellow built a starport and a city there with 1 ship, we're just going all out against them. So we blew up everything, though. So 4 building hits is not like it's a little unlikely, but it happens. And then we just get 3 keys, which is on the low end. So we blow up everything. We lose our weapons. We have weapons outrage now. And we get just 3 keys from yellow. Farseers is what you want. Yeah. If we got a 4th key, take Arms Union 2 would have been amazing. And then we use 1 to move back. That's a big mistake. Huge mistake. And here's why. We need the building slots. And then now we see Arms Union being used. So that's maybe one argument to take Arms Union instead of Farseers, but I think you just got to take Farseers. But you should have left the ships there because you need the building slots. You have a 2. If you can just pivot or take another turn, perhaps that's the play. But because I didn't get building slots to prioritize that, I'm only have 4 ships left on the map. Even though I had the action cards and had the action pips to do building, I didn't prioritize that. All right, now we see a pivot for blue. They're going for Guild Struggle. Makes sense. I know I'm going to use Farseers to get another action card. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So now, if I had... No one took the initiative, so if I had just kept the ships there, I could have used my 2. And so now I'm using Farseers. Now I'm also getting rid of my 2 because I realize I can't build. I don't have fuel. So I'm taking those 2 cards, and now I have another action card. So I'm pretty happy with this. But again, no construction. That was the cost. Because I didn't build starports, there's nothing I can do. I can't tax material either. The only material city is blues, and he has 3 ships there. So what do you do here? So I think we just move back and fight the 1 ship. So all the more reason to just stay there. So yeah, I think this is a good lesson here of blocking the gates, leaving a ship behind in the gates, of prioritizing building slots and thinking through, okay, where can I build a lot and rebuild my fleet. I built some ships, but I haven't in Chapter 2, and I haven't in Chapter 3. We roll well here, but we don't need to roll super well. I probably would have re-rolled the damaged that die, just to make sure I just don't damage that one ship. But so now we have a weapons planet with 2 building slots, but we have no construction cards. So I think that's probably one reason to keep the 2. And again, this is the 3rd time we've seen yellow use 3+ psionic, and now they're catapulting out. They're going for our city. We have 2 ships there. Let's see what happens. So they're going to soften it up first. So they did 1 psionic to move. They're going to do another psionic to battle. Again, they're thinking about Tycoon. Okay, they got Tycoon. And here we're doing some diplomacy. We're actively discouraging Yellow from doing this to us because we are not in a position to do this. And so what I try to convince them is to actually not go for us. And so what they actually do is they tax us instead. And so I convince them to say, hey, don't destroy my city, just tax it. Like that's going to help you win too. Because I don't want to lose more ships. If I lose those 2 ships, I only have 2 ships left. We see Relic used to get Guild Struggle, and they should take Secret Order? Yeah, probably take Secret Order here. But they're not doing that. Yeah, so they're just moving their ships over. So yeah, it's still our turn somehow, and we're kind of flabbergasted by this. So we move these ships in to dissuade Yellow, but again, this is just pretty bad. And now we were blocking on Guild Struggle for some reason. I'm not sure why. And then we see Blue. Now they're going to battle Yellow. And so they 1, 2, 3, 4. So they get very lucky. Oh, see, this is not Blue battling. This is Yellow battling. And so they battle here. And yeah, I think one thing in my mind is I misremembered a rule in this game. And the rule is, if at the end of your turn you have no ships and no starports, you get to place 3 ships at any gate. But in my mind when I was playing this game, it's no ships, no cities, no starports. So I'm trying to get everything wiped. And that's just not the right rule. And so that kind of warped my thinking here. But again, like I said at the beginning of this chapter, you have to assess where is your fleet at, how can you rebuild it, what do you need to do to kind of change your board state. And I didn't do that. Instead, I just focused on battling and not thinking about building slots to use my action cards. So you see 2 keys here. They can take a fuel, and they can take a psionic, or they can take Secret Order. Probably take Secret Order. But psionic is really good too. So yeah, probably a psionic and a fuel. Again, Yellow has shown how Mystic can be so powerful, and why psionic, in my opinion, is the best resource in the game. And so just taking one away and giving yourself one makes a lot of sense here. But yeah, scoring wise, we are not going to win fuel cartel. Or we're not going to win the Tycoon because they have fuel cartel. But we could tie, possibly. And if we get second, it's the same either way. So we're talking about this in the game and just about the points. And but because Empath, getting second in Empath maybe is better. And then Tyrant is going to yellow, and then second's going to blue. And with blue, Tycoon, they have a city bonus shown, but they don't get that for Tycoon because they only get second place points and no city bonuses for Tycoon. So they take Secret Order. I think probably looking back on this, blue should have taken a psionic and a fuel. That's just going to help them more long-term, more flexible than just Secret Order is just a passive ability than like actively helping them. And so now we see a bunch of trophies, and I somehow still have the initiative in Chapter 4. I kind of flabbergasted by this, and here we noticed that the fuel needs to go back. But yeah, Chapter 4, I get no aggression cards, 1 construction card. I immediately use it, and then I declare Warlord. And I can tell you, I did not check what the total counts were for yellow. I just assumed that I was just winning because I had done a lot of fighting, but as you can see here, it's very close. And when I realized this, I counted. I'm only up by 1. And all yellow has to do is destroy my city to get 4 more trophies from Guild Struggle. And they get to steal Material Cartel or Fuel Cartel or Secret Order. So Warlord should not have been declared. Absolutely not. That was a big mistake. But it's okay. I had to play the 4. That was a given. I had to play construction to build up a starport, build up a fleet. And honestly, I should have discarded Material Cartel, got another material, built another ship. That also should have happened. So yeah, this is again another reminder that when you are low, your high value cards, even if you anticipate Tycoon's going to get declared, you need to think about, can I get rid of this to help my board position? And that's absolutely what I needed to do. I needed to get rid of Material Cartel to help my board position, possibly even in Chapter 3. But I was hoping for the points. And we're still close. But with the board state here, we have 3 ships, 1 starport, and now we're starting to count, and we realize, I don't know, how far in the lead are we actually? So blue gets the initiative, and they unfortunately are still thinking of the court as this way to, influence and then secure without realizing the liability that we are both in because of my open city. So my city in Sector 3, the fuel planet, all those agents are going to be trophies if yellow can destroy it. Alternatively, I can try to destroy a blue city, but I'm not in a good position to do that. I only have 3 ships, so I just tax, a copy and tax, and now we see yellow, and they're going to seize, and so they're going to tax, and they get 2 psionics because of their psionic city. So a Mystic with a psionic city, I hope this game shows why that's busted. Definitely S tier Mystic if you have a psionic city. So now they're playing all their resources. They're moving their ships over to blue, and they're going to roll a bunch. So they're rolling assault dice. They get unlucky. They just get 1 hit, but that's okay. They have a bunch more actions. And now they get average roll here, so not all the ships are damaged. And because of Hidden Harbors only is active when you have a starport, this city, from the beginning of the game, when blue started, has always been a liability. And now they're doing a ton of damage. They're not raiding. Why? Why wouldn't they raid? Well, they don't need to. They're going for trophies. And they roll bonkers. And they get all the ships. They destroy the city. They get all those agents as trophies. Now they have Guild Struggle. They can steal a card. Again, it doesn't really matter what they steal. But yeah, they are in a great spot. So probably Secret Order. But honestly, one of the cartel cards probably makes more sense because you have the discardability. You have Court Enforcers in the court. But yeah, this has been a good lesson on the power of psionics. Why, if you're competing in the court against another player, make sure that other player is protected and making sure that they're not making you vulnerable. And so I'm just doing the math here, and it's about 6 or 7 trophies I need. So that's my pathway to continue the game is Time Warlord. So that's what I'm telling Blue, is that my goal is I'm going to try to equal the trophies somehow, some way. And it's not going to be easy. And Yellow's still taking their last pips, so they move out. They're moving to these empty building slots so they can build their last city, get the full 5 points for winning an ambition. Because the game could still continue to Chapter 5 if they don't get enough points. 9 points by themselves is not enough for Mystic to win. And so we see attacks from Blue, and they get a captive from Yellow for that. And so here, I probably should seize the initiative because Blue didn't. But I don't have any aggression cards. And so my hope is that I can do a big fight. So that's what I do. I move all my ships over, and we can re-roll these. And I do 4 hits. And I just... Yeah, it should be 1 more damage. No, it's just 2 hits. 2 self-hits, and that... I probably should have re-rolled there. But we just take it because we destroy everything, and then Yellow plays another aggression card. And so again, I'm excited, but because Yellow is winning Warlord, they don't need to declare another ambition. So one of us, either me or Blue, has to seize initiative to declare another ambition. Otherwise, there's nothing we can do unless I somehow tie in Warlord. And guess what? They're going for more trophies. So now they're rolling here. They do 2 hits. They take a trophy. And then they give a trophy to Blue, because, again, Blue is nowhere close. And so how can we win here? I think if I can move down to the relic... If I can move to where the relic city is with Blue... and I can just do a ton of damage there, perhaps that gives me enough trophies, but and then Blue can try to hit me and do self-hits and give me trophies. But I'm almost wiped off the map here. And this is where remembering that rule right would have helped. So they raid me, and they give me a trophy. They destroy my starport. So now that my starport's destroyed, I absolutely need to move down to where Blue is. If possible, if someone plays another aggression card, roll 3 assault dice, try to blow up my ships, and then at the end of my turn I get 3 fresh ships. That could have swung the game. But spoiler alert, I misremembered the rule, so I'm not even thinking about that. So what do we do here? So again, we got another move and fight. So we move over, and we're just trying to get as many trophies as possible. And we have 1 fresh hit, so I should re-roll the blank because I'm trying to wipe my ships, but I don't want to wipe my ships because I misremembered the rule. So if I re-roll the blank, there's a good chance... so I roll the same thing. So I do three hits. I give a trophy, and damage the city. So yeah, we're still behind, and then we see another aggression card. So I think yellow said at the end of the game they had 4 aggression cards. Perhaps I think it was 4 aggression cards in their hand out of 6. And so they just dictated the fighting, and so now they're moving in, and then they're going to fight me with 1 assault dice, and they get lucky and destroy both. And here, I misremember the rule and like, well, there's nothing I can do here. And but at the end of my next turn, I should have gotten 3 ships in a gate. But I only have a mobilization card. I only have a admin card, so I can't even fight. So our game's over. There's nothing we can do to win. We're gonna get second place in Warlord. But now the question is, can blue win? So we've been focusing all on Warlord, but remember, blue has Tycoon's ambition. If they declare Tycoon, they can declare another ambition. So that's what they do right here. So they declare Tycoon, and now they're deciding what they need to do. They can go for Keeper, and they have all their cities built. So now they're going to get points for winning Keeper. So that's 9 points for Keeper. The only issue is they could be winning Tycoon, and they are, but they only get second place points, and they don't add their city bonus. So they were hoping to get 11 points plus 9 points, so 20 points. Instead, they're only going to get 9 points plus 3, so 12. And that's not going to catch up to yellow getting 14 points. Or not 14 points, it's just 11 points. And so we talk about this for some time, and that because of this downside to being an academic for Archivist, they don't get the full 5 points for Tycoon. And so instead of getting what they were hoping, 11 points, they're just getting 3. And so without that disadvantage, blue would have won, which is crazy because yellow did that great play at the beginning of Chapter 4, got all those trophies, set the tone with all those aggression cards, and even then, blue still was waiting, being patient, and almost found a way to come back at the very end. So we just play this, get a fuel, we're going to get second place in 2 ambitions at least. We'll get second place in Tycoon, second place in Warlord. But we see now Tycoon's getting scored, we see Warlord's getting scored, and then we see yellow gets exactly 30 points, and blue just doesn't have quite enough to do that. So that's the game. I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed playing the Warrior. Definitely made some mistakes along the way, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And we have a few more games coming up in the tournament that I'll try to edit for this recap stuff. But for now, this is the end. Have a great day. Bye.